So finding a comfortable sitting position and elongating the spine. So sit up tall, back of the neck nice and long. And then softly close your eyes. So taking a moment to settle onto your mat, mind and body. Just allowing any tension to release. Letting go of your plans for the day. Giving yourself this next 60 minutes to be completely present on your mat. So today we're going to be focusing on Drishti, the gaze. This is a really important part of the practice, especially during our sun salutations. It's another of the practices that helps turn the sun salutation from just an exercise, a physical kind of exercise, into actually practicing our yoga. So Drishti is our gaze, our yoga gaze. And when we get caught up in the appearance of things, so that outward gaze, our prana, our vitality flows out of us as we see and scan stimulating sights. Allowing our eyes to wander creates distractions that lead us further away from our yoga. And that was just a little quote from David Life, one of the founders of Jivamukti Yoga, on the importance of the gaze in our yoga. And we've got 9 main tips, 9 main points that we focus on, or they do in Ashtanga Yoga specifically. The nose tip, the third eye, the navel, the hand, the toes. Then we twist. As we twist, we take the gaze around in one direction and then around in the other direction as far as we can go. And then the thumbs, and then also up into infinity. So these are the main Drishti points. And as we move through today's flow, we're going to be focusing on the use of these Drishti points in our practice. So it's going to be quite an Ashtanga influenced class, a very sort of Ashtanga based practice. So while you're sitting with your eyes closed and seated in a meditation position, traditionally, we bring the focus to the third eye. And sometimes when you're moving the gaze up to the third eye space, it can create a little bit of tension around the eyes. And you can alleviate that tension by gently lifting the chin and just allowing a soft focus to fall on the third eye space. With your focus on your third eye, start to introduce your Ujjayi breath. So finding that soft, steady rhythm to the breath and keeping a softness to the eyes. So when we open our eyes, we want to keep that almost soft focus, so we're not aggressively looking up. There's no tension around the back of the eyes, keeping that soft focus. And from here, just gently dropping your chin towards your chest. Good. So softly opening your eyes. Come forwards onto all fours. So here, as we just start to focus the gaze. On the inhale, taking the gaze to the third eye space, lifting the head and arching the back. As you exhale, rounding your spine, take your gaze to your navel. Inhale and extending, so coming into that gentle back bend and gaze to the third eye. Exhaling and rounding. So together the movement, the breath, and this Drishti. And then coming back into a neutral spine. So from here, sitting back to your heels, you can bring the knees and the feet together, back into a child's pose. Bring your forehead down to the mat, so the third eye rests down onto the floor. And bringing your focus to this third eye space. And then direct your breath into the back of your body. So starting to open up. Look at the rib cage, open up through the side of the ribs. Good. And extending your arms out in front of you, take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. You're just opening up through the left side. And keeping that steady ujjayi breath. Focus to the third eye. And then inhaling, come back to the center. Exhaling over to the left side, so breathing into the right. And then on your inhale, come back to the center of the mat. So coming up onto all fours, taking the feet and the knees to hip distance, tuck your toes under and push back into your downward dog. So in our downward dog, we take the gaze to the navel, so down to the belly button. Good. We allow the spine to lengthen, the back of the neck long. Good. Connecting through the hands and the feet. Finding that very gentle lift through Mula Bandha. If you want to move in the pose and start to loosen up your body, then do. Taking a few more breaths here. Releasing any tension from the back of the neck. And then walk your feet to the top of the mat. So coming into Uttanasana. And pressing down into your feet as you inhale, rise up to standing. So Urdhva Hastasana, taking the gaze to the thumbs. And exhaling, bring the hands to Namaskar, bringing the gaze to the nose. So come down into Tadasana, bring the arms down by your side. Either bringing the feet together, toes touching and about a sort of inch gap between the heels, or the feet hip distance. And finding your connection to your ujjayi breath. Good. So on your inhale, floating your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, taking the gaze to the thumbs. As you exhale, forward fold, taking the gaze to the tip of the nose, Uttanasana. Inhaling, lift to your flat back, taking the gaze to the third eye space. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga or knees, chest and chin, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, push back to your downward dog, gaze to the navel and hold it here for 3 breaths. Good. On your inhale, step forwards to your flat back. So lifting, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, fold down, Uttanasana, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, floating up, Urdhva Hastasana, gazing up to the thumbs as you lengthen. Exhaling, bring the hands to Namaskar, gaze to the nose. Again, inhaling, floating your arms up, so gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, forward fold to Uttanasana, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, shift the gaze to the third eye, lift to your flat back. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga, gaze to the tip of the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye space. Exhaling, push back to your downward dog, gaze to the navel and hold. On your inhale, step forwards, coming into your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, gaze to the nose, folding down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana, gaze up to the thumbs. Exhaling, bring the hands to Namaskar, gaze to the nose. And inhaling, floating your arms up, gaze to the thumbs. Exhale. Forward fold, Uttanasana, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, lift to your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, push back to downward dog, gaze to the navel and hold. Good. On your inhale, step forwards, coming into your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, gaze to the nose, fold down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, gaze to the thumbs, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to Namaskar, gaze to the nose. And inhale, floating your arms up, gaze thumbs. Exhale, gaze to the nose, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling as you lift and lengthen, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga. Gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, push back, downward dog, gaze to the navel. Good. On your inhale, step forwards, coming into your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhale, folding down, Uttanasana, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana, gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, bring the hands to Namaskar, gaze to the nose. So I want you to do one final round on your own. See if you can remember even just a couple of those points. It doesn't matter if you don't get them perfect. So timing this, your movement, your breath, your gaze. When you're ready on your inhale, begin. So meeting in Tadasana when you finish. Bring your arms down by your side. Fix your gaze to a point on the floor and soften the gaze. Good. So from here we're going to move into Surya Namaskar B. And just adding in a few more moves that you're familiar with and a few more gaze points. So then connected to your Ujjayi breath and use a warrior one or high lunge variation, whichever one suits you. On your inhale, sit back to Utkatasana. So interlace the fingers, take the gaze to the thumbs. As you exhale, forward fold, gaze to the nose, Uttanasana. Inhaling, lift to your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the tummy button. On your inhale, step your right foot forward. So taking the arms up, we're going to gaze to the nose. Exhaling, lowering the hands down, step back, Chaturanga, keep the gaze to the nose. Inhaling to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling to Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhaling, step the left foot forward, so taking the arms up, Virabhadrasana 1. Take the gaze up to the nose, tip of the nose. Exhaling, lower the hands down, step back, Chaturanga, keeping the gaze to the tip of the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the navel and hold. Good. On your inhale, forwards, coming into your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, folding down, Uttanasana. Gaze to the nose, bend your knees. On your inhale, interlace the fingers, take the gaze up to the thumbs to Utkatasana. Exhaling, come to standing, hands in Namaskar, gaze to the nose. Inhaling into Tadasana, just softening your gaze. This time on your inhale, sit back to Utkatasana. Interlace the fingers, gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, gaze to the nose, forward fold to Uttanasana. Inhaling, gaze to the third eye as you lift. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the tummy button. On your inhale, step your right foot forward, so interlacing the fingers, taking the arms up. This time, take your gaze to your thumbs. So really lengthening up, root down through the feet. As you take the gaze up towards the thumbs. Nice deep breath in. Exhaling, move the gaze to the nose. Step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhaling, step the left foot forward. Again, interlacing the fingers. So follow the thumbs as you take the gaze up. Root down through the feet. Inhaling to lengthen, take the gaze up. Exhaling, move the gaze to the nose, step back, Chaturanga. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Gaze to the navel and hold it here. Inhale, step forwards, coming into your flat back. So lifting the gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, folding down, gaze to the nose, Uttanasana. Bend your knees, interlace the fingers, take the arms up, sit back to Utkatasana, gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, come to standing, hands in Namaskar. Inhaling, release the arms down by your side in Tadasana. Lower the gaze. So taking a moment here, reconnecting to the breath. Just observing any changes in sensation through your body. So this last variation is a little different. If you find us pinching in the shoulders, you can do it with the hands apart. But this time we're going to be taking the gaze up through the pointed fingers, straight up towards the sky or the ceiling, up into infinity. Good. On your inhale, sit back to Uttanasana, take the gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, gaze to the nose, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling, gaze to the third eye, lift to your flat back. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, push back, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the navel. On your inhale, step your right foot forwards, so taking the arms up, Virabhadrasana 1. So here, root through the feet. Fingers, arms interlaced or fingers interlaced, index finger pointing up, and follow that gaze. Take it right past the fingers. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhaling, lower the hands down, step back, Chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhaling, step the left foot forwards. Again, interlacing the fingers, root through the feet as you take the arms up and take the gaze up. So following that long line of energy from the feet, up the midline, straight up and out through the fingertips. Feel that connection down to the earth as you move your gaze up. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhaling, lower the hands down, step back, Chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the tummy button and hold. On your inhale, step forwards, coming into your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, forward fold, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, bend the knees, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana, gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, come to standing, hands in Namaskar, gaze to the nose. Inhale, back to Tadasana, release and soften the gaze to the floor. Good. So from here, coming back to your breath. Good. So we're going to step the left foot back on the mat, taking it about 3 feet and turning the hips to face the long edge of the mat, straightening both the legs. So as we start to move around with the gaze in this instance is going to be going up. We need to firmly root through the feet. So feel down through the 4 corners into Padabandha. So you inhale, taking the arms up. Good. Rooting down through the feet as you exhale. Inhaling, reaching over the right leg. So get as much length as you can from the right hip to the right armpit. And on the exhale, open out to Trikonasana. So then turning the gaze up towards the top hand. So you need to really root firmly through the feet and connect to your midline in order to take the gaze up without wobbling. And breathe. Good. Then pushing down into the feet as you inhale, come up to standing. Lower the arms down by your side. So we're going to turn the toes to face the other direction. So you don't have to have your back to the camera here. So have that front toe or the left heel in line with the middle arch of the right foot. So inhaling, taking the arms up to shoulder height. As you exhale, push down through the feet, root firmly. Inhaling, reaching forwards over the left leg. And on the exhale, open out to Trikonasana. So find that energetic connection down through the feet as you then turn your gaze up towards the top hand. And breathe. Then pressing down into your feet as you inhale, come up to standing. Lowering your arms down by your side, step to the top of the mat and bring your arms down by your side in Tadasana. Then we fix the gaze softly to the floor and observe the Ujjayi breath. So we're going to stay facing the short edge of the mat. And again, step the left foot back about 2.5 feet, so a slightly shorter stance. I'm about to disappear down a pothole, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. Square the hips off to the front of the mat. This could be very wobbly. So bring your hands to your hips, straighten the front leg. And again, root down through the feet. So we're going to be coming into Parivrtta Trikonasana, our twisted triangle. Again, the gaze follows the top hand. So in this case, it will be the right hand. And on your inhale, taking the left arm up, lengthen through the spine, through the side body. And as you exhale, fold forward. So you're going to bring the hand traditionally to the outside, but you can place it onto the inside of the right foot if you want to. And then take the right arm out to the side shoulder height. As you inhale, hug into the midline and lengthen the spine. And now on your exhale, twist the right, and then turn the gaze up towards the right hand. So here, really rooting down through your feet. It's very easy to lose the connection, especially to the back foot. Good. So Tina, try and move more from the rib cage here. Hips are good. Now see if you can just turn the rib cage a little more. Move with the breath. Good. Lynn, put some weight into the back foot. Really root. Yeah, lengthen through the spine. Nice deep breath in. On the exhale, fold down over the front leg. And inhale, come up to standing. Step the feet together at the top of the mat. Again, gaze to the floor. Soft gaze and observe the breath. Good. So now stepping the right foot back, again about 2.5 feet. So you want the hips squared to the short edge of the mat. and straighten both the legs. So if it's hard to square the hips off to the top of the mat, you can take the feet slightly wider on your mat. So pushing down into the feet, really anchor through the back foot. On your inhale, take the right arm up. And as you exhale, fold halfway forwards, connecting to the midline as you fold. Take a nice deep breath in here, get some more length through the spine. And then on the next exhale, fold down and place the hand either onto the outside edge or the inside edge of the front foot. Take the left arm out to the side. As you inhale, take it shoulder height. And then on the exhale, twist and open. So move into that twist. Now turn the gaze up towards the top hand. So you're keeping the back of the neck long as you turn the gaze up. Take it round as far as you can. But being really mindful of the connection to the back foot. So we're not twisting and losing that connection. And also be mindful of your neck. One last deep breath in. Exhaling, folding down over the front foot. Good. And as you inhale, come up to standing. Step to the top of the mat. Bring your arms down by your side into Tadasana. Again, gazing to the floor. Focus on your breath. So making sure here that on your mat you've got room in front of you to extend your leg out in front. So step back on your mat if you need to. As we come into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, so A and B, we start to play around with the gaze here. I am standing on a very wonky floor, so this is going to be quite amusing. So connecting down through the feet. Here we use the Drishti point as we come into these balancing postures. We use it to connect us down to the earth to start with. And that can be a nice kind of safe place to stay. But we're going to then move that Drishti point to different parts of the body. So keeping this connection down through the feet is really important. So we're going to start by lifting the right leg, keeping our gaze focused onto the floor. And then taking hold of the big toe with the right hand. Bring the left hand to the hip. Take a nice deep breath in. Stand up nice and tall. And as you exhale, extend the right leg out in front of you. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fully straighten. Take your gaze to the toes on the right foot. To keep rooted through that left leg. But now on your inhale, extend the left arm up towards the ceiling and lengthen. And as you exhale, opening the right leg out to the side. And here we turn the gaze towards the left hand. And breathe. Good, so keep pushing down through that standing leg. So play around with your gaze here. Sometimes balance is not yours. Certain days, keep the gaze to the floor. Keep that connection. Good, inhaling, bring the leg back out in front. Gaze to the foot. And exhaling, lower that front leg down. Come back into Tadasana. So these traditional Drishti points are sort of something to aim towards. This energetic connection through the eyes really is an important one. And that connection down to the earth through the eyes is also a really useful thing to have when we come into balancing postures. So Read into your body in your practice today. See what feels right. We're going to move on to the other side. Again, rooting down through the feet. Good. And then transferring the weight onto the right foot. So gaze fixed to the floor, lift the left leg. Take hold of the big toes. So the yogi grip, we have the 2 forefingers looped around the big toe. Bring the right hand to the hip as you stand up nice and tall on the inhale. Exhaling, kick the left leg out in front of you. So now it doesn't matter if this top leg doesn't straighten so much, but see if you can lift out of the standing leg and push the top thigh back. Root through that foot, yes, Lynn, and then take your gaze to the left foot, to the toes. Good. Now on your inhale, take your right arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, opening the leg out to the left and taking the arm to the right. Now root through that standing foot, connect to your midline and turn the gaze towards the right hand. Good. On your inhale, coming back to the midline. So the left leg out in front. And then lower down. Come into Tadasana and come back to your breath. So you can see balancing postures are the perfect example of the importance of Drishti. The body hasn't moved. Just by changing our line of sight, it can throw everything completely. So using that line of sight and training it to focus in our practice is a really important thing to start to add into our day-to-day practice. Okay, so just coming to the top of your mat, coming into Tadasana. Good. On your inhale, floating your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, take the gaze to the thumbs. Exhaling, forward fold to Uttanasana, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, lift to your flat back, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, step back, Chaturanga, gaze to the nose. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhaling, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the navel and hold it here. So traditionally in an Ashtanga class, you would now do a jump through beautifully and land on your bottom with your legs extended out front. You can give it a go if you want to. Otherwise, you can just come to sitting. Nice, Tina. And extend the legs out in front of you. We'll save a jump through for a whole other class. It's a good workout. So here, traditionally in the forward folds, as we're going to be coming into, we take the gaze to the toes. So to start with here, bring your arms down by your side. Sit up nice and tall in Dandasana. So we're really looking for that nice pelvic tilt as we sit, trying to rock the pelvis forwards, get more length through the spine. As you inhale, take your arms up. And on the exhale, forward fold and take your gaze to your toes. Good. So keeping the focus on the toes. This can be one of those poses that if it hurts your neck looking forwards, if you feel like it jars your neck, move the gaze. Really just look down between the legs. But if it feels okay for your neck, start to connect energetically to the feet. It helps you move in that direction. So our energy goes where we focus. Softening the breath. If you want to, you can close your eyes. Take your gaze inwards. And slowly come up to sitting. And so from here, we're going to cross the left leg underneath, bringing the heel alongside the right hip, and take the right foot over the top of the left knee. We want both sitting bones down evenly on the floor. So use blocks, bolsters, whatever you need to use. And then take the right hand behind you on the mat. So keep the back of your neck nice and long as you inhale, reaching up through the left arm. And on the exhale, twisting from the rib cage around to the right. So now we take the gaze as far round to the right as we can. We use this gaze to lead us deeper into the twist. I don't know if you guys have ever ridden horses, but it's one of the things in horse riding. When you're going to turn a corner, you look first and you allow that line of energy to lead you round. Breathe your way into this twist. If you're working into the bind, by all means, come into the bind. As you're taking this gaze around to the right, again, observe, we're trying to take the gaze as far as we can, but are you straining through the eyes? Can you soften it slightly? Holding for a couple more breaths. Good. So from here, to come out of this, turn your gaze to face forwards. And then on the inhale, allow the body to follow. So we really lift out of the twist. Good. Taking a couple of breaths here. We were in the twist for quite a long time, so just allowing the spine to come back to a neutral position. Good. And then change the cross of the legs. So rooting down through the sitting bones. Good. Feel maybe this side feels different to the other one. Feel into it, use props if you need them. And then place the left hand behind you on the mat. Inhaling, take the right arm up. And as you exhale, twisting from the rib cage, turn around to the left side. So the back of the neck stays long, and we turn the gaze as far around to the left as we can. Use the whole spine to work into your twists. So it's very tempting, it's very easy to just try and drag the body round by using the head, trying to really take that turn. And that ends up sometimes distorting the neck, kind of crunch it into weird positions. So when you're working deeper into your twist, find that rooted space down through the sitting bones. Then lengthen up as you inhale. And then start to twist, moving from the waist, then the rib cage, then the shoulders, they follow, and then last of all, finding that last bit of turn in the top of the neck. So work your way into this with your breath. Tina, use your strap. Can you get your strap? Yeah. Because you're like an inch away. So close, yeah. Good. Good. So Lynn, finding more length with that inhale. Lift, lift, lift. And then do that little ripple from the bottom, so turning the waist just a tiny bit as you exhale. Now take a deep breath in, lengthen more. And on the exhale, turn from the rib cage. Inhale, lift and lengthen a little bit more. And then exhale, turning the neck if it feels comfortable. Yeah. So move slowly. Listen to your body and find tiny bits of space from each little part. Good. Last couple of breaths here. So we're going to allow our gaze to follow, our gaze to lead. So turning the gaze to face forwards. Then on your next inhale, lift and lengthen out of the twist. Uncross your legs and find a comfortable seated position. So lengthening up through the spine, softly closing your eyes and return your gaze to your third eye. Again, lifting the chin very slightly if it helps. So if you want to stay in meditation, you can stay here for the remainder of the class. If you want to come down into Shavasana, just gently bring yourself to lying on your back. And allow your whole body to surrender down to the earth. So now just bringing your focus back to your breath. If you're in Shavasana, just feeling the tummy rise and fall as you breathe. As you come back into your body, giving your fingers and toes a wiggle. And then gently hugging your knees in towards your chest. So rolling over onto one side, bring yourself up to sitting, just finding a comfortable seated position. Then gaze fixed to the third eye. When we charge our eyes with yogic vision, we see our true self. As we gaze at others, we perceive our own form, which is love itself. We no longer see the suffering of others as being separate from our own. Our heart is filled with compassion. The yogic gaze emerges from an intense desire to achieve the highest goal of intuitive consciousness. Rather than moving from an egoistic motives or living from the ego that creates separation and limitation, judgment and suffering, we move from a place of love. So as we move and come to the end of our practice, see if you can keep this practice going throughout the day. Observe today, where do your eyes wander? What grasps your attention? What grasps your focus? We energetically connect to the things that we look at, the things that we watch. This can even go into what we watch on TV or on YouTube or on our screens, our phones, the news, reading. What energy are we drawing in and connecting to through our eyes? So bring your hands in front of your heart center into prayer. And we'll close chanting 3 Oms together. So taking a nice deep breath in. Fully exhale. And inhale for Om. And gently bowing your head. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.